take three on the podcast today. Let's see if this one possibly hangs in there and works. I don't know what the issue is. If it's not the video capture. It's the microphone seems to be playing up. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Um, over my head anyway. So um, I've already said this once before, but yeah. Quickly, let's have a look at the standings. After week one, congrats to Davo, high score from week one. Put up high 400s in week one, and that typically is a pretty damn good score. So, especially for week one, you typically don't see big scores in week one. Um, Put up nearly 300 points on defense, so uh, that's probably pretty, pretty good reason why he scored as well as he did. And congrats to Spirit, who also put up just a little bit less than Davo, actually, about 8 points less. Also had an extremely high score on defense, um, just a better offensive score than what Dave did. So, yeah, well done, guys. Another little throw out to everybody. Congrats to everyone. Um, I don't know when the last time was that we all made it out of week one as Survivor, but we all live to fight another day. And tipping pretty close in week one. Only person that was probably really off the pace was Jared with 8 points, but you got Joey, David, and Kenneth all on 13 points. Um, Myself, Paddy, Matt, and Robbie on 12 points. Jakey and Spirit on 11. So that's that's about as tight as it gets, actually. So um, yeah, not much else to talk about there. We'll move on to the games from last week. What do we got here? So apparently, according to the system, probably because of the closeness of the result, I probably wouldn't have made this one the game of the week myself. But 14 points is pretty solid margin to work with. So I got the game of the week down from last week as Robbie's Eagles up against Matt's Bears, and Matt pulled out a close margin, no, a close win. Thought both teams. I think I predicted last week both teams would go pretty well. I think I had Matt winning, so unbelievable. I actually predicted something right in the league, um, and I thought they might both come away with a win actually, but yeah, I think they both just missed out on that bonus. So, congrats, Matt. Um, as for the bench points, man, that happens to everyone. So the only thing that probably Robbie's got to be a bit disappointed with was Jalen Carter getting tossed out of the game before a snap was even done. So it sucks pretty bad when you got a dickhead like that that does something like what he did. It doesn't need to be talked about. It was fucking ridiculous. And I think I saw they're not actually going to suspend him. I actually wish they had. I wish they had suspended him. He said, I think he needs something to happen to make him pull his head in because he's had major issues. There's major mental issues with the bloke, and it's I know it was why the Bears passed on him a couple of years ago when he came out. They felt I think they felt like it just wasn't the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, basically. Um, they and I must admit I was 100% behind them passing on Jalen Carter. Great, could be a great player. But he's got a two-set brain to go with it, so yeah, he's not alone with that in this league, that's for sure. There's plenty of them. Anyway, congrats to Matt. Bad luck, Robbie. Hopefully, better luck next week. None of us want to start up 0-2 or 0-4 as this league tends to go. This is a game I thought would have been the game of the week. You got two teams over 400 points. Um, Jared and Dave, Dolphins up against the All Americans. Dave had a couple of massive performances this week between Nick Bosa, Puka Nakua had a great game, Julian Love had a great game, Isaiah Polamayo, it's got to be Polamayo. Yeah, I haven't watched the Raiders game, so I actually haven't a clue how to play decisions there. Yeah, few very solid performances there. Big game for Jordan Battle for Jared. Well, I like, but yeah, it's the lady he got into the off season, or close to the start of the season. He's there goes my camera. Hopefully, I can deal with the camera. The camera will come back eventually. Um, hopefully oh, I was gonna say no, I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully the microphone doesn't go out in sympathy with it. Yeah, but Jared had some great performances between Derrick Henry. Um, Garrett Wilson had a good game. The Jets offense played really well. Um, it'll be interesting to see if Fields can continue. That was probably one of the best games I've seen him play as a pro. Um, whether he can continue, that's another thing. So he's got to start. If he can string a few games together, he'll have another contract. So, but yeah, overall good game. It was over pretty early. Jared, David just got out to such a big lead by what's that? The Sunday late games. He was a mile ahead, so it was never in doubt at that point. Um, Providence and Akron. I think I actually changed my mind and actually went to Kenneth in this matchup, and Kenneth got the win. And bonus win, I think, off memory. Is that right? Pretty sure he did. Yeah, he got the bonus win. So starts the season off 2-0. He got some good performances from Mahomes, who it didn't look good early for him, um, but didn't turn out too bad. I mean, he scored nearly 40 points in the end. So Chris McCaffrey had a good game. um, so yeah, maybe the injury issues weren't all that bad to start with. Who knows? He's had a lot of injuries. So, um, Alex Highsmith had a big game, and Kyle Hamilton had a big game. Um, for Joey, Lamar, that's just what he's going to do probably all season. But man, the Ravens just find a way to lose another game against a good team. Um, I think I actually picked him as some Super Bowl team, but I had no confidence in it at all. And I'm actually starting to wonder, is it possibly John Harbaugh? Is he the reason why they're not winning these games? I don't know. Somebody that actually watches the Ravens a lot closer than I do might be able to answer that question. Um, I don't know. It's weird. But I don't understand the amount of talent they've got on that team now. They should be winning these sorts of games, especially from the position they were in to win it. They were ahead significantly, and I mean, on the road at Buffalo week 1, and look, jo- it's Josh Allen, man. If it wasn't for Josh Allen, and this is, I know a lot of people want to complain that he won the MVP award last year. There's a reason why Josh Allen won the MVP award, and he'll be in discussion for it every single year. He, if he wasn't on the Bills, that team would be lucky to, they'd be lucky to make the playoffs. Very lucky if they made the playoffs. He literally carries that team. He throws the Superman cape on, and he's the reason why they will get as far as they do. Because without him, they're fucked. They are not even close to the Ravens' level of talent on their team. It was good to see. I've gone off the rails here anyway. But yeah, Cameron Jordan had a monster game. I don't actually know what he did, but 35 points for a DT. Nick Benito, 30 points. That was Joey's best performances. Um, he'd be uh, he'd be pissed at Hutch. Just the Lions. It was one of the games that I have actually sat there and watched. That was terrible. They were really, really, really bad. Um, they never they never looked like doing anything. I don't think that the Packers really did anything special to stop them. They just they were malfunctioning all over the field. Um, it's hard to believe that two coordinators would make that much of a difference to the Lions. I've I've questioned a little bit in the past how great of a true coach that Dan Campbell is. It maybe he is, I don't know. Um, I think he's an extremely good motivator um, who had a couple of the best coordinators sitting underneath him in Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Whether Ben Johnson turns into a great head coach, I know somebody in this league thinks he's probably out the gate already. Um, I know he made some mistakes, but I'm not going to air those grievances here. Um, I'm willing to let Ben possibly improve. I've got issues with other things on the team. Um, but yeah, and Aaron Glenn, there we go. Frozen again. Love this camera. Yeah, it's definitely time to get a definitely time to invest in a webcam. Like I don't know what the deal is. Had just an amazing amount of issues with this thing. Um, yeah, Aaron Glenn obviously did fantastically well with the Jets in the first week, up against up against a pretty tough Steelers lineup. Well, what you would normally think is a pretty tough Steelers defense. Maybe maybe they're not as good as they once were. So anyway, um, I've just spent freaking 10 minutes on this matchup, not even talking about it. But yeah, congrats to Kenneth. Needs to stockpile some wins early just in case some health issues come his way as far as McCaffrey goes. Um, yeah, take the win, 2-0 start. And that's about the best you can hope for, and kept the margin all the way through. So, um, here we go. Canton Bulldogs up against the Staten Island Staples. Um, I, I predicted Jake would win, and it happened. I didn't think there was ever any doubt, to be honest. I was stunned when I opened up chat to the whole Petey Magic, blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? I wasn't looking at fantasy. I don't look at fantasy at all until at the earliest I will look at it is after um, the late games have completed. I just don't think it's worth it. And honestly, with the new job, I don't even look at it before I get home, pretty much. So I got home between 2:33 in the afternoon. So that was when I sat down and looked at it. So I have no idea what the score looked like. But looking at this Sunday early games, I was a grand total of 9 points ahead, with Christ knows what still to play. But I mean, after that, what have I put up? About 120 points, and Jake's put up another what 170 points. It like what's up? But no, hang on. Where is it? 230. Yeah, 180 points. Whatever. Anyway, wasn't even close, and it wasn't close. Uh, Pretty easy win for Jakey. Justin Herbert pulled out. He had a fucking just a great game up against the Chiefs. It was so great to see them beat the Chiefs too. Um, Jeffrey Simmons, Will Anderson. Will Anderson had a cracker. Um, I want to sit down and rewatch that game actually. I watched the highlights quickly, but I haven't got a lot of time on my hands. So. Then for myself, Bijan Robinson had a good game. Michael Penix had a good game, and Butter Baker had a good game. But just too many of these type of scores: fives, eights, sixes, nines, like single digits, man. So that if you've got more than a couple of them in your starting lineup outside of kickers and punters, it's going to be a long day, and it was. Um, yeah, 2-0 start for Jakey, 0-2 for myself, which is pretty common for me in this league. And then it's the last one. It is. Um, no, oh, and by the way, so I tipped Matt to win, tipped Jared to win there. Thought that was going to be a close game. I tipped Kenner, I tipped Jake, and I tipped Spirit, who absolutely poleaxed the reigning champion, the Green Bay Packers. Paddy Profke. Now, Pat probably had a little bit of bad luck with Xavier Worthy, but he could have put up 50 points and it still wouldn't have been close. So there was more than just a little bit of bad luck with Xavier Worthy. This game wasn't close at any point. It was actually on Friday. The Friday game, what do we got? 14.4 and 12.48. By the Sunday early game finishing, there was 120 point gap, and that was as close as it got. They got absolutely smoked. It's no offense, Paddy. Hopefully that's the sort of things to come because I really want to see this Packers stuff off this league. So it's horrible to look at. There is nothing to talk about for your team, man. You, you had a stinker. Couple of good performances, but Josh Allen for Spirit, 52 points. Like I said before, he put on the Superman cape and somehow managed to drag the Bills to a to a Pretty unbelievable victory, to be honest. To score 16 points the way they did at the end of that game, yeah, that was nuts. Um, Miles Garrett, 53 points. I think he had back-to-back sacks. He nearly had three in a row, something like that. It was nuts. Um, so like Spirits had 100 points out of two players there. 463 for the week. Second highest scorer. Great start. 2-0 after a very lackluster performance last season. Spirits looking to start the season off well here, and the defendant champs looking for he's on life support at the moment. So, all right, see you later again, Cameron. I'm just going to turn myself off. I can't. Oh, hang on, turn the wrong thing off. I can't even get rid of it. But there we go. All right, Cameron's gone. This is ridiculous. Um, all right, talk about this week's games. What do we got happening here? Here we go. All right. So, Bears at the Saints. 1-1 Bears up against the 2-0 Saints. According to NFL Fantasy Sharks, they've got the Saints listed as a favourite. The Bears hold a 4-2 lifetime record against the Saints. Um, I'll be honest, I don't know who the Bills and so forth are playing this week. But I mean, Josh Allen's in line for a 30 to 40 point score every single week anyway. So, um, yeah, look, I don't know what's going on with Bowers. Is he nothing much? Listen, it was questionable. Um, yeah, that's issue that's bullshit for anyone. If they had Bowers, oh, excuse me. Um, yeah, no, look, I'm leaning the Spirit to actually start the season off with another victory. Think it'll be a close game. Two pretty good teams here, and yeah, I'm going to say Matt might come away with a bonus win, and I think Spirit starts out 2-0. Yeah, dominant steamrollers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, Fantasy Sharks have Robbie as a narrow favourite, 11-point favourite. The Eagles are lifetime 0-2 against the Steamrollers. And I'm actually going to tip Kenneth to win this matchup. Um, Especially with Kittle out at San Francisco now too. That just means more chances for touches for McCaffrey. Like he's going to have an enormous start to the season, I think. As long as he's healthy. That's where as long as he's healthy, uh, he's going to get points. And I think they're just going to hold it there. It's pretty much him or Ricky Pearsall. So ball's got to go somewhere. But yeah, look, Robbie's got some great players too. Um, could go anywhere this one, but I'm tipping Kenneth for the win. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do the same with this one as I did for the other one actually. I'm gonna tip Kenneth for the win, and I'm gonna tip them both to get a bonus win. All right, Akron Pros up against the Canton Bulldogs. Um, Joey up against Jakey. Um, So, Fantasy Sharks have got Joey's team down as favourites for this game. Don't know if I agree. Um, no, I'm gonna tip Jake to win this. Um, not by a huge amount though. Yeah, I'm gonna tip Jakey to win. Um, I'm not gonna lean to a bonus win. See, I don't think giving out full bonus ones. Yeah, I'll hold off on that one. I'm gonna tip Jakey to win head to head. What am I tipping bonus? Just making it even harder for myself. It's 3-1 last week. 4-1, 4-1, 4-1. No, yeah, 4-1. There you go. Anyway, Staten Island Staples up against the Buffalo All Americans with 2-2 head to head all time. I think we split series actually between me and David both years actually. Uh, uh, Dave's team got off to a great start. So he's got Tour in his starting lineup according to this. That makes me feel better about my chances at least. If man, Dolphins, how fucking bad were they? They were atrocious last week. They were easily the worst team in football last week. Um, I didn't think they were that bad, but I think Tua, mate, got 5.89 points. And he was starting. I couldn't go back there again. They were that fucking bad to watch. They're playing the Patriots in Miami, and I still wouldn't want anything to do with it. I wouldn't start a single Dolphins offensive player at this point. They look awful, and if that continues, Mike McDonald will be sacked fairly soon. Um, McDaniel, I said McDonald, McDaniel. Um, yeah, fuck man, I just couldn't believe how bad Miami was. I thought that'd be a close, high scoring game. Miami couldn't get out of their own way, and Tua just fucking awful. Um, man, they are paying him a lot of money for the crap that he served up the other day. Anyway, David had a massive week first week. Now, what typically happens when you have those big weeks, especially early in the season, they quite often do not repeat the following. Um, Really lacking of consistency generally early in the season. He's saying that I'm not sure. And Fantasy Sharks have got David as a favourite. So I'm going to tip David to win. No bonus win though. I think this will be a pretty butt ugly score actually. I don't think either one of us will put up anything special. Um, I can't see myself winning. Um, yeah. All right. Last game. Green Bay Packers up against the Miami Dolphins. Packers hold a 5-1 lifetime record against the Dolphins. So Jared's not had a fun time against his buddy, but according to Fantasy Sharks, um, they've got Paddy down as a favourite, but I'm actually going to go with Miami to get a bonus win here, and Paddy the champ to start out 0-4 with. I don't know if I had anyone else finishing up 0-4. I don't know how many of us can possibly finish up 0-4 after this week. Where are we? Yes. So I said, according to me, I'm going to have three of them still on a duck egg at the end of this week. I just think Jared's got a better team, to be honest. Um, yeah, pretty simple. I mean, Jared, I thought Jared was actually a contender in the league up until draft time. I just like what he had coming back, and also, I don't know. Anyway, uh, quick look at the games for the week. Where are we at? So about half hour in, so I'll have a quick talk about a few of the games. Uh, where's the betting? NFL matches. There we go. All right. So the Friday game. This is the one Friday game for us. They got the Commanders up against the Packers at Green Bay. Um, Packers are 3.5 point favourite, which on a neutral field would have them as a half-point favourite because generally it's a 3 point favourite for a home team. Um, so going off that, they're saying pretty close game. Um, Packers had a good win against the Lions. Um, the Lions were not good. Now, I don't know how good the Commanders are. They played the Giants, won pretty comfortably at the end, I thought. But the Giants hung around for a fair while in that game. Um, uh, look, I can't say I'm looking forward to the game. I said I probably won't even watch it. I said they're probably they're two teams that I just can't stand, to be honest. So, um, Packers probably get the win at Green Bay, but yeah, I doubt anyone's using that as a survivor pick. Either way, uh, Browns and Ravens, yeah, that could be a couple of survivor picks put in there, I reckon, actually. Um, well, the Brownies played pretty well against the Bengals the other day. Um, but the Bengals, they, their early season struggles just every year, so bad, so bad. Rams and Titans. Um, Rams could be a team that gets used as a survivor pick too. Yeah. Um, Titans, I thought toughed the game out pretty well against the Broncos in Denver last week. How much of that was Bo Nix's struggles, I don't know. Um, yeah, yeah. So no, I think the Rams won, but I still think the Rams are a pretty damn good team. So Bears and Lions at Detroit. Uh, look, on last year, Detroit should win this probably comfortably. Um, Historically, we've played the Lions pretty tough, close games where we have made mistakes to give them wins. Um, Very interesting. From from a perspective of where the Lions are actually at, they will want to put the Bears away pretty quickly, and the Bears D actually played really well, especially missing Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and TJ Edwards the other day. The D was not the reason why they lost that game. It probably looks that way. Um, they gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter, but two of the touchdown drives come off of pretty short fields. I think Minnesota either had it at the 50 or even possibly out on the Bears side of the 50. So let's face it, if you're looking to try and get a touchdown drive, having to go 40 to 50 yards for a touchdown drive is pretty good. Anyway, um, it'll be just an interesting game. Just a bit of a barometer on where the two teams are actually at, especially the Lions. The Lions start to struggle in that game. If they lose that game, um, I think they might be in a bit of trouble. I don't think they can afford to come out with back-to-back stinkers in the division. So, Giants, Cowboys, yeah, whatever. Giants just aren't. They're not that good. They'll hang around in games. Um, they could trouble the Cowboys. Um, you wouldn't. I don't know where the points are coming from New York to win games. That's the problem. Their D will keep them in games for a long time, but their offense just an inability to score points, um, which probably shouldn't be the Cowboys' problem. Their bigger problem will be that ability to stop teams. So uh, yeah, I think Cowboys will probably win. Bills Jets. Well, I'll tell you what, this could be an absolute rip-snorter game. Especially on last week's game. Look, if the Jets come out and play offensively as well as they did against Pittsburgh, against Buffalo, but Buffalo's defense isn't strong. So this could be quite a high-scoring game if last week's version of Justin Fields comes out and last week's Jets offense appears. So yeah, it should be an interesting game. 49ers Saints. I don't think this will be interesting at all. I think it'll be a shocking game. Um, Saints get a bit more of a lifeline with Kittle out as well now for the 49ers, which pretty much, like I said before, leaves it to um, Pearsall and McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, to move the ball. The Saints defense isn't special at all. They're solid, but um, yeah, look, I struggle to see. Like Arizona were pretty ordinary up against New Orleans the other day, and managed to come away with a win. They made it close right at the end, but yeah, look, I still think it's going to be a pretty long season for the Saints. There just might be another contender for that number one pick emerging, and I'm about to talk about them. Patriots and Dolphins. I, I'm actually surprised that the Patriots aren't favourite, even on the road against Miami. That's how Miami was that bad last week. Now, a week's a long time in football. It's been an old cliche that's been used many times. But God, I'd be I'd be stunned. I'd be stunned if Miami beat New England. I just can't see it happening. There's no way in the world I could pick them and couldn't start any of their team. Um, yeah, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, in Cincy. Um, yeah, Cincy was pretty bad last week. Burrow struggled. Chase struggled. The whole offense seemed to struggle actually. Um, I don't know how good the Browns' defense is. Maybe they've always had some nice pieces on their defense. Maybe it's a bit better than people are giving it credit for. I didn't think them with Flacco at quarterback. I didn't think the Browns were one of the absolute worst teams in the NFL. Whereas a couple others let it go. Jags, they won pretty comfortably in there. That one, I missed a lot of that game because it was the one that had the weather. Yeah, so 2016 they won against the Panthers. Um, this will be a close game, man. I think this comes down to probably like possibly who's got the last shot at the ball and a potential game-winning field goal or something like that. So I would not get carried away with the Bengals. So their early season form was shocking. I think it was under Taylor, their record in the first 2 weeks of the season was like 1-11 or something like that. It's fucking just abysmal. They just can't win games early in the season. They got the win last week. Now I reckon if they can come away 2-0, they will be absolutely wrapped. Seahawks Steelers. I think Steelers actually got pretty fucking lucky to win last week. Rogers had a good game, 4 TDs. There was a lot of short throws. Uh, Guys taking advantage of those short throws. Um, Seattle. Oh, that was up against the 49ers. 17-13, that's right. Um, Look, Pittsburgh probably get a favourable start to the season with a game against Seattle in Pittsburgh. The defense is going to have to play better, although Seattle's offense did a great deal of anything against a pretty good 49ers defense too. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one. That could go either way, to be honest. Denver and Indy. Um, I think I think Denver's a better football team. Problem is, Bo Nix was pretty bad last week, and it will need to be better in this game. Indy's defense played exceptionally well last week. I don't know whether that's a reflection of Miami being an extremely bad football team or potentially Indianapolis defense being even better than possibly thought. So I don't know. I still think think Denver can win that game, but it's probably a close game in Indy. Daniel Jones played really well for Indy last week. So Panthers Cardinals. Um, yeah, Cardinals as a pretty short favourite here. I don't know if Ike Quanu's back this week for Carolina at tackle. I know he missed last week. He had the appendectomy. I couldn't imagine that it will take that long for him to come back. I I'd be tempted to have a little tickle on the Panthers here. I know it didn't go well last week, but on the road with an hour and a half weather delay in the middle of the game, um, isn't the best conditions to be operating under. Um, yeah, I think the Panthers will bounce back with a much better performance this week, and Arizona were um, far from a particularly good-looking product against New Orleans. I thought they were pretty fucking average, actually. All right, Eagles Chiefs. Uh, Close betting, close game. Um, the the Eagles weren't great against the Cowboys, and I think the Chiefs probably made it a bit more flattering for themselves than it actually was against the Chargers. I thought the Chargers were far more dominant in the game than the scoreline showed. Um, or it was a closer game than what the game actually ended up being. So I think the Eagles will actually win this game. Super Bowl rematch. So if it goes anything like the Super Bowl, Chiefs will be in trouble. 0-2 start too if it happens. So it's probably a few of us cheering for that to happen. Vikings Falcons. Vikings and Falcons. And yeah, look, the Vikes got away with it. Got away with a win in Chicago. Um, I think there was a few things that worked in their favour to get the win. Don't know that they're as good of a team as that possibly showed. And, Atlanta lost to Tampa, didn't they? Yeah, yeah, that's right. Koo had the game tying field goal late and just absolutely shanked it. Um, no, look, I can see Atlanta going on the road and winning this game. I think this will be a very close game. I think it'll be a very good game to watch, actually. Atlanta's not a bad team. Um, yeah, hopefully it's a good game. Tampa Bay, Houston. Um, Houston lost week one. Tampa won. Uh, Houston was up against what I think is one of the better teams in football in the LA Rams. And what was the score there? 14-9 or something like that, I think it was. Um, I want to rewatch that game. Like I say, I watched it, but only sort of quickly. Um, I think the Texans will get off the duck here. I think they'll get a win, but another close game. And Chargers and Raiders. Raiders had an impressive win over the Patriots, and the Chargers couldn't have been more impressive up against the Chiefs. I think the Raiders are a pretty solid team, but I think the Chargers are one of the better teams in the NFL. So obviously, I've been leaning to the Chargers to win that game. So that's probably me done, guys. I think you've heard me waffle on enough now. Nothing else to talk about really. Um, Best of luck to everyone this week, um, and hopefully we could all kick over a win and Survivor this week to keep it going. It'd be nice to see a few of us make a deeper run at it this year. But yeah, good luck with your teams, and hopefully we can all avoid the dreaded injury curse. So thanks, guys. See ya.